Why was that idea never picked up by any politician in America? Answer, because the lobbyists for the oil cartels would not want Mexico to pay us for the social services that are being garnered for free by the illegal aliens, because that would, again, depress the prices of oil, the price of oil. So although my ideas are very good, they're falling on deaf ears because we don't have very good politicians. That's my opinion. Miles in New York, WOR, go ahead, please. What's your opinion?
Oh, hi, Michael. Just calling to say that I love this show, and just something about Jackie Smith, our past Home Secretary. I just want to say she doesn't speak for British people. I heard that she had banned you from entering the UK, and as a result of that, well, I thought, well, this guy's got to be good if Jackie Smith doesn't like him. Please know I'm a big fan of the show, and I wish you the best of luck in your legal fight.
Well, thank you. The problem is she says that she was not qualified in a way because she never ran an organization, and she said if she did a good job, she hopes it was more by luck than by any kind of skills. And I said, what a government this is under Gordon Brown. How in the world could they get away with this? The woman admits she's incompetent, and she admitted previously that it was she alone who put me on that list with murderers and terrorists. Would you believe this? And yet that government still won't take my name off the list.
Well, the whole government's not qualified, and the majority of British people believe in the things you're saying.
I hope they do so sooner rather than later, because they're going to lose the country entirely unless they get rid of these supine Labour Partyites who are not only incompetent, but frankly working against the British people themselves. Thank you for listening to the show. 1-800-449-8255 is the phone number. Toll-free from anywhere in the United States of America. The article on Jackie Smith saying I was not up to being Home Secretary is on michaelsavage.com. We're also talking about other things. Other things. I came up with a novel idea, didn't I? Because I know a little history. If Alexander the Great could say, look, your son, your father died in battle for my country, for our country, you're never going to be taxed again through your life. Why can't Obama do that for our soldiers? Why shouldn't the parents and children of all servicemen who've died in combat be exempted from taxes, both federal, state, and local, and any military service for the rest of their lives? Why not? Why is that a bad idea? Why is that a bad idea? I think it's a great idea. Again, we can learn from history. But apparently we have leaders who don't know anything about history. In fact, they're leading us down the wrong road. What Obama is trying has been tried before. It was tried in 1917 in the Soviet Union, and it was tried from 1959 forward in the nation of Cuba. This is nothing new. Joe in Chicago, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Hey, Michael. I was talking about the Fontainebleau Hotel.
Yes, sir.
I grew up in Corona, Queens. I was about 10 years old in 1960, and I had an uncle that moved down to Fort Lauderdale in the late 50s. And once he got established down there, he used to come up to New York and pick us up almost every summer. I think there was one summer we went down there by train, which was unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Oh God, my mother, we sat up, we didn't have enough money to, get a sleeping car, so we used to sit all the way down there and eat pepper and egg sandwiches all the way down there. But I remember when we got down to Fort Lauderdale, my uncle always took us down to Miami, and we went to the Fontainebleau Hotel to the restaurant there, and my God, I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
It was like a palace, wasn't it? I was saying, I think I went there in 59 the first time, and as a kid, I walked into that place. It was like walking into a palace. There was no other explanation for it.
Well, my uncle, when we used to go eat, he always ordered us this thing called the kitchen sink for dessert. It was like a huge gourmet ice cream bowl that was like about 5 feet long and was filled with every flavor of ice cream you could have. And that, to me, that was...
And your uncle moved to Fort Lauderdale in what year?
I think it was in 56 or 57 he moved down there.
Well, those were early days. What, they'd run him out of town, or he had business down there?
No, my uncle was a businessman, and he always, I guess he always wanted to do his own thing, so he went down there and opened up some dry cleaning stores. And
good for him.
He made it pretty big.
Yeah, it's a great place. I was in Fort Lauderdale last week. It's a beautiful city. It really is. It's underestimated. All right, guys, thanks for the calls. I'll be right back here on the Savage Nation. Be here or be absolutely nowhere. Savage.
Michael Savage.
Afternoons 3 to 7.
On Talk 910 KNEW.
And online at 910knew.com.
This presentation of the Savage Nation is brought to you by Inheritance Funding Company.
The Savage Nation.
He has it all covered.
Weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk 910 KNEW.
Warning. The Michael Savage Show contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation. Here is Michael Savage.
The Savage Nation. It's Rock and Roll Friday. Now look, since you know what I stand for politically, what's the point of my beating you up with it? Every day I got to prove to you what I believe in over and over again, the same thing? If you raise a topic, I'll tell you where I stand, but basically we know each other, right? It's like you have a friend in me. You know where I come from politically. If you like it, you listen. If you don't like it, you listen to see why you hate me. And in between, but I'd rather not talk about politics anymore. I've said it before. If it walks like a Marxist, if it talks like a Marxist, it is a Marxist. We have a Marxist administration. Does he have to wave a red flag? Does he need to wear a red beret? Does he need to sing the Internationale? He is practicing Marxism right in front of your eyes. So you say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, A, it's un-American. B, it's antithetical to everything American. C, it's opposite to freedom. And D, you're going to wind up enslaved. So now that I've said that, I'd like to talk about stories. It's summertime and the living is easy. So play Summertime and the Living is Easy. And what I'm going to do, for those of you who are new listeners, old listeners, last summer I wrote Psychological Nudity, which were all of my radio stories, One-Armed Frank, etc. I'm going to take requests of which story you would like me to read to you of the Michael Savage radio story list, the playlist. Is it My Silent Brother, The Electric Blue Saddle Stitch Pants, Fat Al's Tuna, Nutty Friend, That Crazy Mother, Coney Island Wax Figures, Dead Man's Pants, Tippy the Mad Dog, Woodchuck Bill, Happy and Sad Cufflinks, When Pasta Was Spaghetti? Was it First Autopsy? Was it Talking to a Bum About God? Was it Working on Cruise Lines? Was it Love by the Sewer Plant? Was it From Immigrant Son to Radio Stardom? Or any of the other favorites? Because they're all in psychological nudity, and I'd rather read them to you for a little bit before we get back to politics. I'll read one. Here's one. I like Walter Cronkite and Purgatory of Manhood by Cyanide. So here's what I wrote. Who did I actually like in mainstream news? Let me just run on this for a minute. I did like Walter Cronkite because he had a deep voice and a mustache. He reminded me of an Italian dentist that I knew in the Bronx. You always had to behave yourself when you were around guys with mustaches like that because they could do weird things to you if you didn't. Cronkite was a very authoritative man, and how he presented the world is how I thought the world was. I might be eating steak and French fries and cherry vanilla ice cream on a TV tray, building up my negative cardiac profile while Dad was working. I'd be watching Cronkite. I had no idea what he was talking about. You see, kids don't really know what the news is, nor does the average adult really pay that much attention. I think we give media people too much power by thinking people really listen to their every word. Every time they put out another fib, I became incensed. Oh, look what they said. Look at the phony poll about Obama. But the fact is that they don't have that much direct influence on the average person. I get excited because I can see what they're doing, but do you? Dad would walk in at 6:30 at night, white from a day in the store. He might just have fought his way home through a snowstorm in his big green DeSoto. And here is his number one son getting fat, watching television, eating steak and cherry vanilla ice cream. He's starving and there's no food for him. I don't have to tell you what flashed through his eyes, my mother's my mother's eyes, and the dog's eyes. He never thought I'd amount to anything. The arguments we would have, my God. You're ruining the kid. Look what you're doing. You're making him soft. You've got to make a kid hard, he used to yell. Look what you're doing to the kid. You're making him a weakling. He'll never amount to anything. He's soft. Look at him. Over there eating that steak and ice cream. He was probably starving at that point. He got home with the slush and galoshes, snow over the top, and his worst nightmare came true. His wife was catering to his son. Then I go on. The guy comes back from the hunt, and what's going on in the cave? The woman he is married to is cooking for the child who has done nothing that day but go to school. And look at girls. So it was soon thereafter that the whole soft life came to an end. No more ice cream, no steak, no TV trays. I was forced to go into his store's basement on Ludlow Street to clean bronzes. That's the beginning of my purgatory and my manhood. You know, this is very good writing. I was too close to it last year to realize how good this is. This is as good as the... You see why I like The Sopranos and